All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Women Behind the Business. This is where we get to know the incredible women behind the brands, the businesses, and the stories inside Women in Business Australia. Connect, promote, and grow. So today I am joined by the beautiful Briony Walker, photographer, storyteller, and founder of Scene. Bryony's work sits at the intersection of photography, identity, visibility, personal transformation, and the stories that women carry through different stages of life. So, through portraiture, I'm hoping I got that right, and conversation, she helps women and girls reconnect with who they are, feel recognized, and be truly seen. But today we're not just talking about photography, we're talking about Bryony, the woman behind the lens, the journey behind her work, and the stories that have actually shaped what she is building now. So, Bryony, thank you so much for being here. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you, Jade. Yes, I've been looking forward to it all week.
Yay! All right, well, let's kick off. So, for anyone who does not know you yet, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are behind the business?
I'm a mum of three, so three teenagers. So I'm often found in my car driving around. Um, and I've found it to be a really good place to get a hold of them one on one and hear what's going on in their life, because if anyone that has teenagers will know it's hard to get much more than a grunt or a bruh out of a teenager at the moment. So those times of driving have become really valuable to me.
Yeah.
Um, Other than photography, I like reading, swimming in the ocean. I love to travel when I can. And other than that, I'm a bit of a homebody cat lady with my two cats, and we also foster kittens at different times. So we always have a couple of kittens running around as well. So it's a bit of a madhouse.
I can see a little kitten in the background, so
Oh yeah.
that works
Oh
out
yeah. Okay,
perfectly.
that's Buttons.
Very cute. Lovely. Thank you for sharing that. So, you describe your work as helping women see themselves differently. So, what does that actually mean to you?
Um, I had a side project. I did a lot of weddings, branding, day in the life, family work, and I always had a project on the side which I called the Beauty Myth Project. And particularly when I traveled, if I was overseas, I would approach women on the street or wherever I was, and ask them a few questions about what beauty was to them. And I just kept it really open. But I found that while everyone's story was different, there was some common threads running through every woman's story. And that was where they picked up when they were younger, 7 or 8 years old, a view of themselves that wasn't their own. So, like a relative at a barbecue saying, are you sure you're going to have that extra sausage sandwich or that extra bit of cake or something along their lines of that on their physical appearance. And whilst, to the person who said it, it was probably, well meaning and didn't think a lot of it, the woman had taken it on board and still was viewing herself through that filter at, 30 or 40 or 70 years old. Um, and I found those stories really fascinating. And I also found too that the photography sort of almost became the vehicle for it. Like there was a lot more sitting and talking, have a cup of tea, um, and talking about those stories that would just come out. And then
Mm.
the photography was almost secondary, and that was more towards the end of the session that we have together. And then seeing the woman walk away with a portrait of themselves right now that they loved, that became it made a lot of that other stuff just fall away.
Mm.
And then the other way that women come to me is when they're coming through a bit of a transition. So either their kids have left home or they've had a divorce, health journey, or whatever, and they've got to midlife, like myself, and have gone, well, is this it? Or is this what I want to do? Or this is not what I want to do? And who am I when I'm not the caretaker, the caregiver, you know, the friend, who am I as a woman? And
Mm.
so taking that time out and going through that process, which is very difficult for people to, stand in front of someone's lens and be like, well, here I am. This is how I turned up, not with particularly with any makeup or any of that type of stuff. Yeah, that has been a really, it's really, I don't know, it's really close to my heart, but it just, when they walk away, having just put themselves out a little bit of their comfort zone, the
Mm.
value is sort of on the other side. And yes, I think I might have got off track, but that's really what motivates me to have these sessions with people, with women.
Yeah, and I can actually feel your energy, like how much you like it means to you that these women come to you for that and just open up, share their story. Not only does it make them feel comfortable, it feels like they're heard and they're seen and that it's okay to be them. Like, because so often we forget who we are. Like, I will speak to women all the time and I'll go, okay, so what do you do? Oh, sorry, who are you? And they're like, well, I'm a mum, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, but where is the woman part of it? You are a woman first and foremost.
Yeah,
So many women forget that. So, yeah,
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
All right, so take us back to the beginning, right? How did your photography business first start? And when did you actually realize that it was becoming something so much deeper?
Well, back. I first became a photographer in the year 2000. I studied at TAFE in Sydney, and I just for a long time it was always a side gig, and then just before I had my first child, a couple of years before that, I started working for Queensland Parks and Wildlife and what was the Environmental Protection Agency as a photographer. And that was the first time I'd been employed as a photographer
Mm,
full time. And then once I had kids, I left, I went on maternity leave and then I left that role. And when I started having kids, it was a good way to have some time for myself. I was obviously photographing the kids, um, and that brought me into the documentary family type work where I just go and spend a day at a house and just photograph whatever's going on. There's no posing or
mm,
anything like that, so it's that real slice of life, and I
yeah.
loved that. Um, but then I was drawn to the mother and child dynamic, and I think that's where the seeing came through, and probably for myself, it's quite a bit of healing, um, showing the women, the mums, the photos of them with their children and those
Mm,
tender moments that weren't manufactured. I think I saw reflected back to me that sort of invisible job or thankless job that mums have where you give so much and you don't really see it, but when you see that photo of you, touching your child's cheek or bending down to help them do their shoelaces,
yeah.
um, them seeing themselves reflected, and I
Mm,
think me seeing myself reflected. I've been a single mum since my kids were tiny, so I didn't have that witness, and I think I became, or my clients became that witness, and that's where the scene thing came on. Um, yes, and then there was the beauty myth, and then I got to a point where I was doing a lot of events and branding and sort of whatever came along, and doing the beauty myth project on the side. And I was so lit up by doing those portraits of the women and just the conversations around it.
mm,
I just had an epiphany one day, which took a long time to have the epiphany. But why can't that fun and that ease be what I do to support my family?
yeah.
And to share it. I had a mentor and she was like, you can't not do this. Like, people need this. And even though you're a bit scared of, niching down and putting yourself out there, she's like, you have to do this for the women that will come to you, because they will only get that from you. Like, anyone's clients, they could get the same service from anyone else, but
Yeah.
you will only speak to the people that are drawn to you for the all the reasons outside of your photography work, like who you are and all your values. So um, it's that's been. a lot to take on too, sort of feeling like, you can't hide it. You have to give it to the world. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, so that's where that came from.
Wow. Yeah. And that's just so beautiful. Like you've just shared how you had to come out of your comfort zone just to, really niche down and, you put so much more meaning behind just being a photographer, right? Because anyone can take a picture. Obviously, not a professional picture, but you put so much meaning behind it, behind everything that people will automatically draw to you because of that. Like, and the way that you get this story out, the way that you take the pictures. And I just love, like, the way that you said that you walked into people's houses, just taking photos of just those little touches. Like, they're things that we take for granted,
Mm,
right? So, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
thank you.
Yeah, you created Scene as a space for women to pause, reflect, and reconnect with who they are beyond the role or beyond the roles that they play. So, what actually inspired that?
Uh, the scene is sort of like an umbrella, I guess, now of the beauty myth, which has become sort of collective wisdom. The beauty myth, I don't know what happened there. It's sort of just just morphed, and it's almost like it's done its time.
Yeah,
The question on, what does beauty mean to you? That was more. I've got a teenage daughter, and she's 15, and I think that I was interested in what real beauty means to women after seeing, what comes up on social media and that very narrow, pretty
yeah,
version of what beauty is. And whenever you talk to anyone that's not a teenager, probably, it was much more than pretty. So
mm,
to me now, beauty is like an emotion. It's not a visual. Like if I can think that someone is pretty, that might conform to, society's current standards. But if someone is beautiful, to me, that is something that comes from inside them. It's sort of all encompassing. It's not that their face looks anything particular. It's beauty, and it's their lived stories. And under that scene umbrella, there's the collective wisdom, which is where the beauty myth has kind of gone, and that services women who are sort of heart-led businesses, so want to do branding photos that tell more of a story about them, but
yeah,
don't want to, have hair and makeup and lights, and they want photos that look like them and feel like them.
yeah,
So that's where the collective wisdom has come in, and then I do. Um, with my own daughter, that's sort of morphed into this Mighty Girl portraits, which is where I go to um, tween or teen girls' homes, and I will photograph them in their bedroom, which they'll
mm.
often have like their stuffed toys and their dolls and things on the bed. And they'll show me like their little, blankie from when they were a baby. But then in the corner is the Hollywood mirror with the makeup and so they're really straddling those two worlds. And to
Yeah,
be able to capture that snapshot before they move on
mm,
and conform to sort of society's ideas of what girls are and
yeah,
all that type of stuff, is to capture that personality then. And
exactly.
it has a similar um, feeling, I think, to that wisdom that we have as the older women, that the teenagers then don't have to go through that. They can understand that who they are right now and their favorite song and favorite things they like to do is valid, and that's who they are. They don't have to go like I did through life and divorce and get to 50 and then go, oh, okay. So I like that idea that we can take a little bit of a slice of that and give it to those younger women so they don't have to go through the hard
Mm.
lessons necessarily.
Wow, yeah, what a beautiful space to be in. And just to be able to capture that because, I've got a 6-year-old daughter and just she already acts like a teenager. And the stuff that comes out of her mouth, you would think that she was a teenager. But I'm not looking forward to those teenage years at all. But I love just that there's just that transition, right? they still want to hold on to that little girl, but then they want to be so much older. But it comes down to society, right? Society expects you, and you see girls younger and younger trying to be older than what they are. And yeah, but I love that, just that being able to picture that transition is just stunning. Like,
Yeah, thank
just,
you. And
yeah,
it's the mums love it too because it's kind of like, okay, I've captured that little box. There's a little time capsule there. Okay,
yeah.
we can move on because I can always come back and look, even photos on our camera rolls and things when they've come up in your memories of 5 years ago or whatever, you're like, oh
I
my gosh, they're
know.
so little. Now they've changed so much and you see them every day. So you don't actually see those things till you look back on a good set of time. So yeah, having this little time capsule, the mums are like, yes, I've got it. I've got her. Yeah.
That's right. I was just actually thinking to myself last night, like my son is 15, he's taller than me. I'm a little short ass anyway. But yeah. And I'm just thinking, it feels like I've missed out from when he started high school at the age of 12. And I know he's only been there a couple of years, but he went from this boy into this man child.
Mm.
And we were just at a meeting the other day on, yeah, just about choosing his year 11 subjects. And it's like, where has this time gone? Like, I feel like I've missed out, even though I've been there for everything. But I don't know, it's just gone so fast. And it's like, I'm struggling to remember the transition.
Mm.
So, oh, so important. Like, so many mums, dads need that to be able to capture that because it goes so quick.
It does. And then when you've got those hard days, you could sort of console yourself by looking at your photos and thinking, oh, look, there we are, smiling away together on some. My eldest son has turned 17 today.
Oh, happy
And
birthday to your son.
so he's about to get his P's. And I was thinking
Mm,
today, because I've been driving a lot with him, um, I don't know when he's going to get them. He's almost got his 100 hours up, but like next week or tomorrow, he could be in a car just driving away on his own. And I just was like, just can't be.
I know. It's scary, isn't it? It's so scary.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, time goes way too fast. Right, carrying on. A lot of women lose sight of themselves through motherhood careers, caring for others, or even those big life changes. So, what have you noticed that women are really craving when they come to you?
Just to be witnessed, I think. Like when I was
Mm,
doing the beauty myth and interviewing people, I felt, and one of the things that held me back a little bit from moving it into sort of as a business was I didn't feel qualified to hold these stories. I was like, I'm not a counselor, and as I've gotten to know it and gotten to meet more women, it's just a space for them to come and just almost decompress a bit and just be witnessed. So there's a lot of
mm,
talking and cups of tea and a few tears and things like that. But I'm not fixing anything. I'm not offering advice. I'm not, um, telling them anything. They just found a space where someone will listen or,
mm,
just let them be. And it does take a while when people first come in, they're quite guarded or they're not sure what's going to happen or whatever. And then you can see through the time that we spend together somewhere that all just drops away. And that's when I'm able to get those portraits that just have such depth because it's that blankness or that sort of
mm.
overthinking disappears from their face and you just get this all of them and it moves me to tears every time as well because I just see the change. It's incredible and I haven't had to do anything, like I said, I'm not giving advice or it's not a counseling session or anything like that. It's just them to be themselves.
Yeah. And, I guess that's kind of where the scene comes into that as that umbrella brand. And it's like, how beautiful is it for a woman to feel safe enough to be seen in all her glory,
Yeah.
the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so
Yeah.
beautiful. Like my heartstrings are just getting, pulled like just talking to you today. So it's just beautiful. Now,
Thank you.
you've shared with me that you've navigated your own seasons of change, including divorce, motherhood, you've had some health challenges, and rebuilding your business. So, how have those experiences shaped the way that you hold space for women?
I think, well, particularly divorce is a great leveler, um, and gives you a lot of empathy or just a lot more bandwidth for people. Like I think, sometimes, or in the early days, I didn't know many people that were divorced, and certainly that didn't have, 3 kids under 5.
Mm,
And talking to some people that were still married, they just didn't get the depth of, grief and despair and love and all the things that were
mm,
that you take for granted when you're married, with, dual incomes and the comfort and the security that that brings. When that's gone, um, it's just a whole different thing. You seem to I felt like I was carrying a lot all the time.
mm,
And so I think as that's progressed, that's been over 10 years now since I've been divorced. Nothing, not nothing surprises me, but nothing is really an earth-shattering surprise now. Like I just am like, oh, okay. When someone tells me something about what they're doing or where they were, or it's kind of like, tell me more.
yeah,
Where so it's given a lot of perspective. Um, yeah, it's given a lot of perspective.
yeah, I love that. So, what has photography taught you about identity, visibility, and being truly seen?
That's a really good question. I think in recent times, what has been interesting is that the secondary role that for me that the photography has.
Mm,
People will say to me, like, I don't know how you get that photo that just sort of stares through your soul and whatever. And it's really just giving people space. Like it's just letting them calm down. We're all seem to be on quite high alert. There's so much input and things to do as women. There's that the caretaking and the driving and all the things. Um, just a space. And I
mm,
guess it's similar to, when you go for a walk in the bush or you go to the beach or whatever, even for half an hour, or catch up with a girlfriend, have a coffee or something. It just resets you and really grounds you. And I think so. It's the same. I feel sometimes I'm not doing a lot. It's just holding space and being there for someone to let let them. It helps them articulate who they are and where they are now. And
mm,
you would probably have it a lot where women particularly will be say, oh well, I'm kind of a photographer, or I'm kind of got my own business. That sort of tentative, not sure if they've got permission, to that midlife where they're like, well, this is me. There's
yeah,
nothing we can do about it. It's take it or leave it. And quite happy for people are quite happy to leave it.
yeah,
Life
absolutely.
wisdom, I guess.
Yeah, amazing. And you would see like the confidence sort of grow from when they first start their session to the end of it. That have that just that transition because they've been able to reset and just kind of relax. And I know it can be probably a little bit nervous. I know I've had photo shoots and I've felt nervous and icky, but by the end of it, you're feeling confident and, brave. Let's go out of our comfort zone a little bit.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's a big
Yeah.
transition in that sort of short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's that jumping off the cliff kind of thing. It's like, you're not going to be confident before you come in for the shoot, or not many people are. Like
Yeah.
you decide to have the shoot, then you're like, oh my God, what have I done? I don't want to do this. Like, oh. And then are brave enough to come and just to open up and just be themselves. And then when they walk out, they're like, yes, I'm going to be doing this, and it, even with their like social media and the things for their business, it gives them a whole lot of imagery and things that they can use and not hesitate about what they want to
Yeah.
post about. So that's sort of the byproduct of it. It's interesting. What I sort of thought was the product has now become like the just the vehicle and the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's incredible that that's actually happened for you, right? That you've realized that, thinking that photography was the main, you know, core of product of this, but it's not. It's a secondary, it's a byproduct.
Mm.
Yeah, amazing. So you're currently building Scene, right,
Mhm.
along with the projects like Mighty Girl and Collective Wisdom. Can you tell us more about what you are creating and why it actually matters to you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You've got the good questions, Jade. um, I think it's a lot of that for the Mighty Girls. It's what I want to have for my daughter. Um, it's a wisdom that is gained over a lifetime. I think is the thread that runs between it, and where we can get together um, and share our own stories with each other. Even I went to a networking event last night, and it's just women talking about all
Mhm.
sorts of things. Some of it was business, but the I think when that business chat sort of finishes, and it's the what's underneath that connection and the collective wisdom that is shared at those events. So it's legacy. It's that you have a portrait of yourself, at least one that you love over
Mm,
your whole lifetime, and particularly in midlife, like our bodies change, our face, hair, everything changes. Um, and so to have a portrait, a legacy portrait for your kids and your grandkids, like it's at the time it doesn't seem like you'd be thinking that it was a legacy for generations, but
mm,
it's what we all look back on. Like, you go to the art gallery or the museum, and it's old photos that we look at, and people will always say if their house burns down, they'll be running. I mean, I don't know that they're running for their photo albums anymore, but they're running for their phone, and
yeah,
like they're just precious. Um, but
yeah,
if you don't take them at different periods, and you don't have them, and you can't get them.
that's right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually, the photos is something that you do try and run back for because you can't replace them. I actually left a very toxic relationship when I was younger and I had to leave, just had to get out of there and just left everything. And the one thing that I regret leaving was my photo album. It
Mm.
had photos of my great grandparents, and I'll never get them back. And just, yeah, life, my brother who passed away when he was a baby, just, yeah, I'll never get them back.
Mm.
And that's probably the one thing everything else, was broken or just it was a very bad ending to a relationship. But it's those photos that I treasured more than anything, any materialistic thing, they can be replaced.
Mm.
But those photos couldn't. So, yeah, it just
Yeah.
goes to show how important, those photos are in your life.
Yeah, and seeing and your grandparents. Like I've got a photo of both of my sets of grandparents on their wedding day, and it's the formal with the dress all splayed out and beautiful like that. And it's just I don't know. It's something about seeing your face or parts of your face, or even with the kids, you can see the family resemblances on one side or the other. Um, that's really I don't know. That's really precious to me as well.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry you went through all that, Jade. That
Oh,
sounds terrible.
that's life. That's, how I become who I am today because of it. So, I don't hold any grudges or, I've forgiven myself for being there. I've forgiven the person. It's just like, we move on and we move through our lives. But, if I hadn't been through that, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So
Yeah,
it's shaped who I am. So,
yeah.
yeah, no regrets.
See the
No
lion in
regrets.
the background. Are you a Leo?
I am a Leo,
Me
yes.
too.
Yeah. That's my Lux Lioness branding and marketing. So just yes, it's very me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a couple more questions.
Mhm.
What has business taught you about yourself?
Uh, yeah, that's a, it's a
It's
good,
a huge
all these
question,
good
isn't it?
questions. I think in recent times, it has taught me to value my own time and my own. A lot of that, I've been a photographer for 26 years now in various ways, whether it's part time or full time, and that unseen, it's that length of time and length of experience,
Mm,
putting that into the work that I do now, or that is obviously how I can do the work that I do now, but that there's a value to that, and not giving services away, um, not discounting a lot. Like, I love to give to my clients, and I love, the customer service side of things. But in previous lives, I've sort of, at different times been a shoot and burn. So do the shoot, it's $200, it's everything unedited, like just a mess. Whereas
mm,
now, I think part of that experience and the customer service is that I don't want to give someone like 80 photos
yeah,
and say, there you go, because unless they're experienced in editing, or I don't know, how do you pick out the one or two that you want to use as your profile shot, or that are the best ones? So part
yeah,
of my role is to guide people through that as well. So they might have, 8 photos at the end of their shoot that they've take away with them, but they might have seen 80, but we've pared it down to like my expertise on lighting, or what's, the look that they're after and something like that, plus
yeah.
the ones that they like of themselves. So that's been learnt through lots of different iterations of my business.
Mm,
And I
yeah,
think
I
that's
can
probably the most
imagine.
powerful thing now, is when I see younger women discounting their services or giving things away for free, or, you know, yeah.
It's really about not being able to hold the value that you offer. And there's probably limiting beliefs that come up with I'm not good enough, I need to do this, I need to do that, there's judgment, there's everything that it might be lack, right? So yeah, it would bring a lot up, but
Yeah.
holding that value and knowing that, like, that's powerful.
Mm.
It's really powerful.
And not burning out. Like a lot of people that
Yes.
will, you want to be busy, but then all of a sudden, the reason that you've got taken a business on for yourself is so that you've got flexibility with your family often, or,
Yeah.
and then when you don't have that and you're working around the clock, and then you're also not making enough, you work out that you might as well be working at in, a retail store down the road, which would give you the flexibility, because it's just going to be the same hourly rate that you've let yourself, by the
Yeah.
time you work it all out. So yeah, I think valuing ourselves as women in business is really important.
That's a big, powerful lesson right there. So I hope everyone that's listening or watches the replay to this just really takes that on
Yeah.
about valuing yourself and your services. And, and it's a belief as well, right? One thing that's always sort of stuck with me is no one's coming to save you, right? So you keep believing in yourself. And, I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't trusted myself. And I've still got a long way to go. Like, nothing's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So we're always learning, leveling up, growing. And yeah, so that just, yeah, that's just a beautiful, beautiful, so powerful. Now, before we wrap up, what would you love to share with the community right now? This could be, how people can actually work with you, how they can book a portrait experience, learn more about scene, or connect with your current projects. What would that look like?
The best way to connect with me is on my website. I'm just in the process of revamping it a little bit. I've done some new branding and things like that. And last week, there's some broken links on there, and there's some fonts that don't match in there. And I was like, you know what? Totally against my type, my personality type. And I was like, just get it, publish it.
Yeah.
Done is better than perfect. and it's taken me a long time to sort of go with that as well. Like it doesn't, no one is going to notice, except I've just pointed it all out, but no one's going to notice that the fonts are different or that it's not quite what I want. It's at least gives the overview of my work now and the way for people to contact me.
Yeah.
Um, in regards to how to work with me, with the collective wisdom, I am looking at booking a venue for August, September, and that will be collective wisdom, and that will be there'll be 20 women. So anyone that wants to be part of that, it is paid experience. So it's the portrait session and a framed print,
Mm.
and the print will go on the wall with a little with the woman's wisdom
Yep.
underneath it, and we all gather on that night. People can bring their friends or their loved ones, and then at the end of the night, after just spending some time together, just almost networking, but just connecting,
Yeah.
they take home their framed portrait and they can put it on their wall. So they've got something that they're walking past every day with,
Mm.
high five or like, yeah, that's me. Instead of on the camera roll, because everyone has it on the camera roll, but it's amazing how much the difference of having some prints, even just the paper
Mm.
prints, is to looking at it on the screen these days. Like it's like, wow, that's a photo. Like it seems old fashioned these
I
days.
know it does,
Really
doesn't it?
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And it's funny, I've got like just from moving over the years, and I moved in with my partner nearly 10 years ago. And it's like I've got all these photos, like real photos that are sitting on a shelf, and I don't know, there's no room to put them. It's just like,
Yeah,
what do I do with them? It's
I
like,
know.
how can I still see them when there's not really any room? But I don't know, that's maybe a my problem and a first world problem, but
But it's nice too to some every now and again when you're cleaning up and you get on the side quest of cleaning up
yes,
and looking through it, or if the kids get hold of them and they're like, "Is this you?"
yes.
Yeah, I was 15
Yeah.
as well once, Edie. Like, believe me, I do know what it's like. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it is interesting when you have so many. Like, what do you do with them? But yeah,
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I'll get you to, or you can send me your website links or anything, your contact details, booking a call, social links. We'll get all them, we'll pop them in the comments
hmm
so anyone can connect with you, right? So I really want to thank you, Bryony, for sharing your story with us. Like, what I love about your work is that it reminds us that being seen is not just about a photograph. It's about identity and remembering who we are, right? It's about honoring the stories that we've carried. And it's really about giving women that space to pause, reconnect, and see themselves with fresh eyes. So I want to thank you for letting us get to know the woman behind Briony Walker Photography and Scene. And for everyone watching, please go and connect with Briony, explore her work, and support the beautiful projects that she's creating. So thank you so much for joining us for Women Behind the Business.
thank
And
you.
we will, yeah, see you all again soon with another incredible women from inside Women in Business Australia this afternoon at 1 p.m. But thank you so much, Bryony. Is there
Thank
any last words of wisdom that you'd love to share before we
I
go?
think I would just encourage everyone to be in photos. Like, I'd love it if anyone is in Brisbane and then they want to work with me. I would love that too. But there's a photographer for everyone, and some people won't. This won't resonate. They will want to have a different style. Like there's
Yeah,
boudoir if you really want to get into the self discovery type of imagery, like the family photography. Like just get some photos of your
yeah,
family or whoever right now, because you just never know what's going to happen, what's going to go around the corner, people pass away. Like just do it, because you'll never regret it. You never regret how much you spend on it,
no.
or the time that you take to do it. But if you don't, then yeah, the regret is real there.
Yeah, that's right. Because really, they're a priceless item. Doesn't matter how much it costs you in the beginning, that stays with you. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So get in the photo, book a
yeah.
shoot with someone.
Yes. Book a shoot with Bryony, especially if you're in
Anyone,
the
book a shoot
Brisbane
with
area. Yeah.
anyone.
No, beautiful. All right, beautiful. Thank you so much for
Thanks, Jade.
joining
Thank
us,
you for having
and
me.
we will see you all again at 1 o'clock. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.